The Super Bowl set, and it couldn't be more of a kick in the junk for Browns fan. Joe Burrow was everything that we thought Baker would be and more. Swept ya. I guess people really do like quitters. Thanks, Rams. Anyway, both of these teams can lose. What do you got this week, fellas? Go Browns.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Zach Kopp, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Dawgs. If you want to get your intro or your voicemail and show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. It was kind of a depressing weekend to be a Browns fan, but the Super Bowl's set. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some other league news, but before we do, remember to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, if you prefer to just listen to the podcast. Lastly, if you're looking for more content, head to jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page. The fantasy championships are wrapped up a couple weeks ago. Hopefully Josh sent the people their stuff. The look he's giving me says yes. So their stuff should be coming hopefully soon. We got, threads on there constantly. I've really tried to pick up my game as far as like posting stuff in there more frequently for everybody to comment on. There's a text thread for the people who are in the group. You get the episodes early. We started a thing last week where if you're in the Patreon, you can call into the after hours and just kind of lead the episode. We got another guy calling in today. So that's fun. So if you want to be on the show, be on the after hours show, just get to watch the after hours episodes. I think they're our best episodes. Check that out. Jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member. Before we move into news and stuff like that for the week, I do want to remind you guys, voting for the Mad Dog Awards is open right now. Head to thedawgspodcast.com/awards. Make sure you vote on that. It's going to be open until Sunday night next week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you got a little less than a week to get your votes in. The more votes, the better. And then on our episode next week, in the off week of the NFL, we will present the Mad Dog Awards. Some really cool categories on there, like offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, best performance of the year, unsung hero award, a lot of cool stuff on there. So dawgspodcast.com/awards. Make sure you guys get your votes in. The more, the better. It makes next week's show a lot more fun. The more participation we get. So moving into today's episode, I think it kind of dropped a few days ago, but then we weren't 100% sure. There's some backlash, but it's official now. Tom Brady retiring. I feel like I know we're a Browns podcast, but we'd be pretty stupid not to mention the fact that the greatest quarterback / player probably of all time is no longer going to play football. I know, I was kind of shocked because
I thought he had a couple more in him.
All he ever talked about was, his quote was, "I'll retire when I suck." He just threw for 5,200 yards.
Yeah. Not sucking.
He did not suck at all.
Right.
I was shocked, and I never would have thought he was going to retire this year. And then all of a sudden, you kind of heard leading up to their last game, like, he's kind of on the fence about coming back. And I'm like, man, no way he quits after this year. I thought he would announce, hey, next year's my life, almost like a Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have like a farewell tour, go out and then see if I can get it done. And then this will be my last year. I was super surprised that he retired after this year.
I know, like, leading into the last game he played, like, you started seeing a little bit of like smoke. Usually when there's some smoke, there's some fire to it. You were seeing stuff like, I don't need to have like a farewell tour like Ben Roethlisberger, stuff like that. I just want, it's about my family time and stuff like that. So I still was super surprised. I thought at least, like you said, he had at least 1 or 2 more years in. Greatest player of all time. It's not even, you said probably, man, like for me, I hated the guy for years when he was with New England. And like, I think just as I got older, like you kind of just learned to respect that you're getting the opportunity to watch something special.
You respect it and you just appreciate it when you, like, I was watching the Rams game, Rams-Bucks 2 weeks ago, and I thought, what if this is the last time I'm going to watch Tom Brady play football? So I really wanted to watch that game.
We all know he's your favorite player.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it.
When the guy, he's good. When you watch, you're like, hey, this is like the absolute top that you're going to get at quarterback. And it's just, I don't know. There's something about watching the best. It's like when Tiger was in his prime, watching him play golf, you're like, this is the best. Like, there's nobody better.
I think the reason he picked this year to retire was I think the Bucks are going to have a tough time. I think they're going to lose some pieces.
Yeah.
And so he probably doesn't want to be there for any kind of rebuild. Like, he did that enough. Mm-hmm. He won enough Super Bowls with basically nobody around him. His best receiver was a Kent State quarterback. So, going down to Tampa Bay was supposed to be the time where it was easier. I'm getting old. I should have some playmakers around me. So I think he saw that. And I think his wife was on him. Like, hey, can you stay home once? These kids are driving me nuts. You know what I mean? So I think that had a lot to do with it. These kids are getting a little bit older. They're probably doing like school stuff and that kind of things. Just crazy though they retired. I mean, there are literally people in the NFL, players in the NFL, who their entire lives, Tom Brady's been in an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. That is crazy to think about.
Zach Wilson, I think that was the big one at the beginning of the year. Yeah,
they played each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. I agree. I think it had a lot to do with family stuff. We say, oh, he's old for football, which he is. I mean, 43, 44, but
is he old for Tom Brady?
To be a human, to be a dad, that's not old at all. But I mean, you're at that point probably where the kids are older and he's missed a lot of things, I'm sure. Already, football's such a demanding, any pro sport really, but it's all year. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a heavy focus that I'm sure he was ready.
I feel like, go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, especially for Tom Brady, some of these people who are more, like Patrick Mahomes is just more naturally gifted. What made Tom Brady so good was he was smarter than everybody else. Well, you don't get smarter and know everything about the defense that you're playing against without watching hours and hours and hours of film every single day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying like a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers, they don't have to try as hard, but I feel like in order for Tom to be as good as he was and is, he had to put in. I mean, he's not exactly a naturally gifted athlete. I mean, he played. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a tall, strong guy, but he's running the 40 in a week. He's not bench pressing the world. That you know what I mean? His game was more mental. Well, in order to do that, you got to sink a lot of time into it.
Yeah, and they talk all the time about draft capital and players and things like that. So when you're a first round pick quarterback, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. You can go out there and make some mistakes, have some bad games, and you're going to keep getting the opportunities because there was a high capital investment made in you.
AKA Baker Mayfield.
Right. Okay, good point. But when you're a 6th round pick, you go out there, you have a bad game or two, make some mistakes, and all of a sudden it's real easy to move on from you because you were just a 6th round pick. There's hardly any investment whatsoever in you.
It's crazy that one of the greatest players of all time literally got his opportunity on a chance injury. Like, he just stepped in.
I was watching TV today, and the guy said, when you're a 6th round pick and your starting quarterback's Drew Bledsoe, who was the first guy to get a $100 million contract, you're thinking best case scenario, I get to be this guy's backup for a few years. Yeah. You never think, you know what I mean? Like me and this clipboard guy, I'm just going to be wearing my hat on the sideline, charting the plays, and this is going to be my career. You never think, an injury is going to happen. You're going to go in and literally just never, ever give it up.
Yep.
It's crazy. I mean, Big Ben kind of did the same thing, didn't he?
We got drafted pretty. He was still first round, but he stepped into a pretty decent.
Didn't Tommy Maddox get hurt, and then Ben went in and just never gave it up?
I felt like he was all. Is that how it went down? I remember him just being always there that first season.
No, he wasn't the starter. He came in because I think he won his first 13 games.
Yeah, there was an injury. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have eventually. He was in a position where he was going to take that. Tom Brady just kind of.
Is it funny though that Tom Brady decided to retire the same year as Ben, just kind of like overshadow him a little bit?
So I'm like, I really have been reading stuff where they're saying like people are really like pushing that they waive the 5-year rule for him, and I'm like, I mean,
he's not going anywhere.
No, I mean, it's not like he's 90. Just hey, wait your turn, man. I mean, that's already. We were joking around. That's a great class already. I mean, Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger. I mean,
they're both
top tenors. Mm-hmm. Top tenors, they're up there. He's a number oneer, but
Yeah, so I just pulled up his stats because
it's outrageous.
Yeah, so like career yards, 84,520.
Golick Jr. and Canty.
Come on, man.
We're talking about it today. And so for Aaron Rodgers to get into like Tom Brady territory as far as the records and stuff, they said he would have to throw 5,000 yards in the next 6 seasons to tie him, which is outrageous. Because I like look at Aaron Rodgers and I'm like, man, he's really good. He's really, really good. So, and then
you don't get 5,000 that easy.
No.
Tom Brady did it this year.
Yeah.
He did.
And then there was another one. I want to say maybe it was, it was yards, and then there was another one. Maybe it was touchdowns or something, but it was going to be like another 5 or 6 years, and like extreme number one performance,
Yeah.
numbers.
Well, it would have to be touchdowns because Rodgers sat for those first however many years, and Brady's got 624 career touchdowns.
It's outrageous, bro.
He's the only player over 600, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that was the big deal this year.
Didn't he beat Peyton at 597, or did Breeze end up beating Peyton?
That was Breeze,
there was so much back and forth there for a while.
They were breaking each other. Tom and Drew were like breaking each other's, I think, back and forth a little bit, but just a crazy, crazy career. It's just going to be really weird. No Big Ben, no Tom Brady. Peyton's been out a couple years now. No Phillip Rivers. It's like they were the guys when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is left.
Yeah.
Who any other old guard QBs left? Matt Ryan's kind of like dwindling away in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy. It's like a whole new league.
We got pretty lucky. We've seen some good ones. It's outrageous. I grew up on Brett Favre and John Elway at the end of their careers, but then Peyton Manning, Drew Brees.
We saw arguably the 2 best quarterbacks of all time play in their primes for their whole career.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's
and go head to head against each other many a times.
And how many of these seasons that Tom Brady played in New England when he was younger in his 20s was the NFL still primarily a running?
Adapting.
There was a lot of run game. It wasn't so pass heavy like it is now. He was in the 3,000s for, those first 6, 7, 8 years. He went over 4,000 a couple times, but it's not like he was racking up yards from his entire career.
Didn't need to.
So I watched this super interesting video, and I actually saved it to my phone. I forget what year. Carson Palmer, he was still in Cincinnati. I think they said it was 15 years ago. How much different the league is now from 15 years ago. Carson Palmer was the only person in the league over 30 touchdowns at 31. He had in 2015 he was 28 and 15. He was like, do you realize 15 years ago that was considered a great season? That season now, and he didn't even have 4,000 yards. He had 3,800. That was great season. Well, now that's so mediocre.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I was just going through Brady's stats here, and in 2001 was the first year he was the starter. He played in 14 games, threw for 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 12 picks, and he made the Pro Bowl.
Now, keep in mind too, those early Tom Brady teams. Man, Belichick built super team defenses around him. So I don't want to say that all he was a manager, but man, he was very good at just getting them to the big game and then, field goal for the win. I never thought the Rams would we're going to lose that game, that first one. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. I honestly, I thought he was going to play a few more. I really did.
Me too. Yeah.
Just because there was no drop off.
No.
When Breeze retired, you knew it.
Yep.
Ben, yes. Peyton, yes. Brady never hit that. Maybe that was his whole point is I don't want to go through that season where everybody knows I'm done.
Yep. He's going to finish probably second in MVP.
Yeah. I know.
I heard a comparison today. This would have been if Michael Jordan would have went to the Wizards and averaged 28 a game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. So I felt like we needed to touch on that as a football podcast in general. It's hard to talk about football and then not mention Tom Brady retiring. So congrats to Tom. I know he's listening to the show. It was a pleasure to watch you for a very long time.
Well, he did thank us in his Instagram thing, right?
Yeah.
Are we in there?
I must have missed that.
He thanked us, not the Patriots. Right. Again, before we move on, Patriots fans, quit whining that he didn't thank you in his retirement post on Instagram. The dude gave you 6 Super Bowls, took pay cut after pay cut after pay cut. Give me a break, guys. He wrote you a chapter book about how much he'll miss you when he left the Patriots. Now, if he doesn't talk about you in his retirement speech, then you can complain. But give me a break, guys. He already said goodbye to you. Calm down. I mean, and I'm seeing people like Patriots fans on Twitter, like, he's trash. I threw his jersey away. But,
oh, my God.
Like, give me a break. Talk about spoiled. Yeah. Like, my God. Bunch of babies. He didn't thank me in his Instagram post. The words, I can't even, I'll say them on the after hours.
Oh, man.
I can't wait for that.
But, okay, so we'll move on from that. I just had to get that in. We got a voicemail from Jacob, Browns by Jacob on YouTube. He sent this to us a week or two ago, so we're finally getting around to playing it.
What's up, gentlemen? Browns by Jacob checking in again here. Something that we have to do is re-sign Jarvis Landry. Now, obviously, he's getting paid something like $15 million. He's making a lot of money. And we need to reconstruct or do something like that. Obviously, he's a fantastic team leader. He's been able to turn DPJ into a good receiver. We cannot let him go, especially for that offense. And a possible Browns wide receiver taken in the first or second round. Another guy I think we absolutely have to re-sign is Jadeveon Clowney. If he can stay healthy for a full season like he did, I think he can continue to do that. We didn't see any problems with his knee. And attacking free agency, this is going to be one of the most interesting parts, and I think this is going to tell who the Browns are going to draft. Looking at this free agency, there's a lot of wide receiver talent where you can let Landry go and pick up somebody like Allen Robinson or Mike Williams. Then you have someone like Akeem Hicks, who doesn't look like he's going to re-sign with the Chicago Bears. And then obviously, at number 13, it's either going to be Jordan Davis, Garrett Wilson, or Chris Olave. And I just want to know, what type of path do you guys want?
Okay, so I just got to throw it out there. Jacob, I appreciate you, man. You left me, I think, 3 or 4 voicemails. So I kind of tried to piece it together, put
okay.
Nice. the main parts of it, just so we could.
I thought he edited that. No. I was like, this young blood's got some skills on on Snippet or whatever he's using there.
So the first thing I'll address is having to keep Jarvis Landry. I think that's a huge want. I don't know if it's necessarily a need as far as a talent standpoint. Now, I think he does a ton for the locker room and the mindset of the locker room. But then again, on the other hand, you have some people say he kind of checked out after Odell left, which I don't know if that was the case or if it was just his injury he was trying to come back from.
I don't know, man. He didn't look checked out again the last throwaway game against the Bengals.
So I would love to have Jarvis back because I think he's great for the locker room. I'm on the record saying I think of all the players on our team, like, he kind of deserves the most credit for the turnaround culture-wise. But I just think if you want him to stay, he's got to be willing to work on the salary. Either we extend him a year or two so that it becomes less per year. Something, he's got to do something because he's not coming back for 15, 16 million.
Yep.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, the restructuring of the deal. The names he kind of threw out there, Allen Robinson, Mike Williams, those are guys that are probably going to get $15 million a year. I would think so. I mean, they're pretty. Here's the thing: of those 3 guys, I'd rather have Jarvis. Yeah. He's already used to the system. I mean, I know they're different. Kind of what Allen Robinson's, excellent, but I'm like, he's familiar with the system. We kind of, if you're going to pay a guy that much, of those 3, I'd rather have Jarvis. I like that $15 million.
What he said too about like how he helped DPJ. If we're going to draft a rookie receiver in the first round, I love the idea of having Jarvis on the team still to kind of bring him along and show him how to be a pro. Again, it's all going to come down to dollars and cents, because if you want Clowney too, I mean, that's another guy who's probably going to have, the way he played this year, he's going to garner some interest, and he's already on the record saying it's all going to come down to the money.
Yeah.
So we're probably, I have a feeling he's gone because we're not going to give him, somebody's going to give him more than we're willing to give him probably, if I had to guess.
I mean, if it's like a Bud Dupree kind of contract or something like that, we're not getting in on that. Like a 4 years, $50 million or something like that.
No.
I don't see us going down that road, which kind of sucks because he was a pretty nice piece for us, this last year.
He was.
He got that money. Future bag, he got it.
He did. He worked his way into that one.
Yep.
The receivers, I agree with you. I think out of those 3, Jarvis for sure. I've always liked Allen Robinson. I think he's got just crazy talent.
Yeah.
If we ended up having Allen Robinson in Cleveland, you're not going to hear me complain about it.
Correct. Yeah, me either.
Now, Mike Williams, on the other hand, I don't know how I feel about Mike Williams because he kind of seems like the Myles Garrett type of receiver.
Oh, man, I knew you were going to go down that road. The disappearing act.
Like a disappearing act, one-trick pony. Now, Myles, not this, but Mike Williams always dealing with injuries because he's kind of a violent player as far as like going up. I mean, he goes up and gets catches, but he comes down hard and then big
super athletic,
hard,
super athletic, like freak. I remember him coming out of Clemson, like super talented.
But
kid.
as far as a first round receiver for the Chargers, he's never, for me anyway, lived up to what they wanted him to be. No.
He went like 11th, right? Something like that.
Yeah, he was high.
Yeah.
I think Jacob talks about what it's going to be for us in the first round. The D lineman from Georgia, Olave or Wilson. Obviously, the D lineman from Georgia, I think, is going to be a stud. He's humongous. Yeah. He's like a mountain of a man. But I just think I think you have to go receiver in the first round. I don't know. To me, I watch these playoff games, and what do all these teams have in common? They all have a really good quarterback, and all those quarterbacks have one really good receiver. You know what I mean? At least one. It's we kind of fumbled the bag with the good one we had. He's getting ready to play for a Super Bowl. We're going to talk about that. But if you watch these teams in the playoffs play, we got to have some playmakers on the outside.
Yeah. So my question then is at 13, because very talented D linemen go quick usually. So if there's a guy there at 13, you're like, we cannot pass on this talent. Do you take him and then try to move back up into the first round later? Because
it's a huge wide receiver class.
The receiving talent at the end of the first round, early second round is still going to be great. Because they're not going to, these guys don't go in the first round, even though they're the top skill players. There's bigger needs for teams that already have those positions filled. They need linemen, they need defensive linemen, cornerbacks, safeties. We see these guys go throughout the first round. So I don't know. I would not be upset if they went D-line at 13, gearing up to move ahead and try to get a stud receiver, like maybe in the first round later on, or, move up in the second.
I get what you're saying. We're so wide receiver needy.
I know.
To me, it's a glaringly obvious that we need more talent. And so for me, it sucks because the latest big board, they got him at 8. I think like Garrett Wilson's upside is outrageous. Like you might not get, I think he's going to be a stud day one, but like his upside's insane.
Don't pass on like the talent, please. Have the Browns not learned their lesson with that? Like are we not, if we want Deshaun Watson, going to have to give up like 1 million first round picks? Did Julio Jones not go and have a Hall of Fame career for another team? Like, don't give up on the talent, please. If he's there and it's our pick, just freaking take him.
If it's at 13.
Yeah, stop overthinking it. Just go get him, please.
Even if Williams is there at 13 and Wilson's off the board, I would take Williams knowing that he's probably going to miss some games too. He's a stud.
The one receiver, though, that comes back to me, I don't know if you guys remember this. I can't remember what year it was, but it was the year that Sammy Watkins got drafted, and the Browns were sitting at, I forget what pick. Watkins was on the board, and of course we traded away. And then he ended up, I think it was the Bills, right, drafted him. And that was the guy I wanted so bad in Cleveland. And then we've kind of seen how his career's played out not so well.
Now, in Sammy Watkins' defense, he went to a team that had no quarterback. They were the Cleveland of the North. They were a bumbling franchise who drafted a receiver with no quarterback, and he was injured a lot. But ask the Bengals how they feel about their Jamar Chase pick.
Ask anybody how they feel about Jamar Chase.
You know what I mean? Like, don't pass on it. If he's there, I would rather take him, Garrett Wilson at 13, and if he ends up being a bust, whatever, because everybody thinks he's going to be good. So nobody's going to yell at you for taking him 13th. You know what I will be ticked about is if we pass up and then we trade back and take some project guy in the second round, and then Wilson goes to the Hall of Fame and we have a guy who's not on our team in 3 years, which is what we do all the time. So please don't do that.
All right. I agree with you on that.
All right. Well, before we move on, Thanks again, Jacob. We appreciate you sending in your intros and your voicemails. Again, if you guys want to get your voicemails on the show, just like the intros, dawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. You can either drop an intro or you can drop a voicemail. We'll talk about it.
Yep, and everybody, the moment that we've all been waiting for since September is finally here. In honor of the big game, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, is giving new customers 56-1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in New York, and I know we've got some listeners in New York, so yay for you guys. And this means you can now bet from almost a third of the country, and if Sportsbook is not yet available in your state, go play DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Get your lineups in for Super Bowl 56. I think you can probably do lineups for the Pro Bowl. I know I have before. I'll definitely have a few different variations for the Super Bowl because it's the last game. I got to do it. I've been doing it all playoffs. It's been a lot of fun. Cooper Cup every week. New customers can get a free shot at a $1 million top prize with their first deposit. So go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code TPPN, get 56-1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code TPPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. You must be 21 years or older. Minimum age and location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full list of requirements and state-specific responsible gaming resources. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Tennessee, call or text the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. And in New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369.
Damn.
We got to shorten that up, bro. Because
Almost
I
passed
quit
out,
listening
bro.
to you like halfway. I was like, I forgot what we were even talking about.
So basically, go play DraftKings, have fun.
There it
and
is.
If you got gambling problems, then go listen to that whole string of stuff.
Okay.
Sweet
My God,
Jesus.
I've been up for like almost 20 hours straight. I almost died. That was rough.
That's the first time I've seen those, so I was like, oh, man.
I got
here we
nervous
go.
for you. You were getting deep into some numbers, some letters. Oh, man. Good for you, Josh. It was good.
Well, this was the conference championship week. We got to talk about the teams that are going to be in the Super Bowl. And like Kenny Mack said in the opening, I don't think it could have been a bigger kick in the nuts for Browns fans to see the Rams and the Bengals make it to the Super Bowl. The Bengals, the team was supposed to be years behind you as far as their rebuild from our state, and then
Division.
in our conference,
Oh, boy.
in our division, they go to the Super Bowl in the first year that Joe Burrow has a full season. It's unbelievable. And then that's supposed to be us. And then on the other hand, the Rams, I know they kind of I've been preaching all year, like this is, go upgrade the quarterback. This is why you make the moves. Don't worry about your draft picks. Well, they're in the Super Bowl and Matthew Stafford. And then I don't know if you guys heard, but Odell's on their team. And so the dude leaves our team in that year, makes the Super Bowl with another team. And he had 9 catches on 11 targets for 113 yards in the conference championship.
Okay, well, I'm glad you gave us that.
So where do you want to start? I mean,
Wherever you want to start, go ahead.
Yep.
all right. Well, so it's crazy because it really shows you, man, how really, really good Joe Burrow really is. Like, we thought he was very good, and there was moments and flashes where I was like, oh, man, that was a nice touch. Like there's nice plays there. We should have already seen this coming. All this dude did was just win at every level. I mean, he went to LSU. Cakewalk game. I mean, the dude was just literally smoking cigars and dancing and just chilling. Odell's handing him 20s and 50s, The guy's a winner. This year, he's fully healthy, and all he did was say, hey, we're really good, and we're going to go win these games. And then all they did was back it up.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like that for like 10 years probably.
Though, what was it, 2 or 3 third downs in a row where he was getting pressured and somehow he breaks out of sacks.
Yep.
And not just break out of a sack
Makes
to throw the
them
ball away or
runs,
something like that. Goes and gets a first down with his legs. And I'm just sitting there watching the game thinking, well, like the dude refuses to lose, refuses to go down, refuses.
They're down 21-3.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the team that won the conference the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years, down 21-3 on the road. And they come now. The defense had a big part of it in the second half.
Yeah,
but I mean, my God, like that is what you need to be successful in this league now.
Yeah.
It's not 2005 anymore. That's the kind of player you got to have. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to me that anybody can even argue that.
Yeah, I mean, look at Tennessee. I mean, Derrick Henry's not going to take you to the Super Bowl. You're not going to ride a running back to the Super Bowl. You need a quarterback. This is a passing league. You got to have playmakers. Both these teams got them. I mean, this Super Bowl is going to be fun. Fun game to watch.
I agree with that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And then the Rams. I'm pulling for the Rams because I'm not one of these people who are like, oh, if it's not my, at least somebody from our division will win it. No. I do not want the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. That's the last thing I want.
I dig the swag from Burrow, but that would be super painful.
Yeah.
Like we were laughing. We were like, yeah, we want him to like get to, that'd be sweet to get to the AFC Championship and then the road ends there. You know what I mean? Like the road didn't end there. Now I'm nervous.
No, I don't want them to win it all. I want Matthew Stafford to get a ring. I think it's funny too. I mean, it took him 1 year.
Yeah.
He gets out of Detroit, goes to a team that isn't Detroit, goes to the Super Bowl. And you can make the argument, I mean, he's a huge reason they're there. They were melting. Everybody was melting around him against Tampa Bay. And then he's the one who kind of kept it all together, made the big throw down the stretch. This against the Niners, they dropped 2 touchdown passes in the first half. He kept them together, made big throws. I mean, good for him. And then Odell, it's just what a squandered missed opportunity for the Browns.
That's what I kept thinking the whole game. I'm like, those words exactly, missed opportunity. We had talent at a position where we don't have much talent.
Yeah, everybody's
we just talked about
screaming about how bad our receivers are. We had that guy on our team. He was here, and everybody's talking about how, everybody wants to give Baker these excuses and passes because he was hurt. Was Odell not coming off of an ACL tear? And he didn't, you guys, and then you're saying he quit and he didn't put effort. Though it seems like the further he gets away from that ACL tear, the further he gets away from Cleveland, the better he's doing. And I think it has a lot to do with he has a quarterback who can throw him the ball.
I mean, I think that's part of it. I mean, we're talking, he was there for 3 seasons, man. I think there was just a lot of, I almost dropped a swear word, but, a lot of bad situations and just miscues. And so, I mean, if we thought about it, okay, Freddie, then we finally get, a new coach and we feel like there's some things that can gel together and then he gets hurt. And then going into this year, there's expectations and just obviously I think the quarterback play was definitely a part of it.
I don't get
to last year, but
I don't get the thing the when people say he wasn't a fit, that makes no sense to me. He was open. How much of more of a fit could there be? He was open.
I know. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and so that video still haunts me because you just can't argue with. I mean, clearly he was open a lot, and then to see that happen over and over and over as the season played out after he left. We had people wide open. DPJ. How many times do we talk about these plays in these games later in the season where we needed to win to try to make a playoff push? We've got guys wide open, running routes, not even getting looked at, or getting looked at, getting pump faked twice, and still not throwing the ball.
It's just it's so disappointing. I guess I put it in here. Then does the success of the Rams and the Bengals put more pressure on the Browns heading into the season? Because one of these teams, you saw they got aggressive in the offseason to upgrade their quarterback, even though they had a quarterback who they have seen play at a high level and go to a Super Bowl. I feel like if Browns fans were Rams fans, they would have been screaming to keep Jared Goff. We've seen him play well before. We've seen him go to a Super Bowl. They would have been so mad about the deal for Stafford. No, Goff has been to a Super Bowl. We know he can play well. He played, think a couple years ago when he outdueled Patrick Mahomes. We know he can play well. No, this is why you're aggressive.
Look at the other side of the ball on Sunday night. I mean, the Niners, Jimmy G took him to a Super Bowl. Yeah. Jimmy G took him to the championship game this year. I think they still drafted Trey Lance this year, number 3 overall.
And they're going to let this go. Jimmy's going to not be on the 49ers next year.
Yeah, I think he's.
And this is why.
Yeah, you're
good enough, but not good enough. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's just so I think then you look, and then if you turn and look to your own division, a guy. I mean, he's playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in football, and he's got him in the Super Bowl.
Man,
and that year, the year 2019, everybody blames the line for how bad Baker played. He had Nick Chubb, he had Kareem Hunt for half the season. He had a healthier Odell and a healthy Jarvis. But because he played behind a bad line, we said that's why he played bad. Well, so now he's still got Nick Chubb, Hunt. He's got better tight ends and the best offensive line in football. He still didn't play well.
Well, and if you remember, that bad O-line in 2019 was the same O-line that he had in 2018 whenever Greg Williams took over and Baker played really well the second half of that season behind that same O-line.
Yeah.
Remember, he was only sacked like 5 times in the second half of the year. That's why we had such high hopes going into 2019. And then, I don't know. I'm tired of the roller coaster.
I mean, just be prepared for, there's a good chance that's probably what it's going to be next year, man. I don't see a big free agent coming to Cleveland. I just don't. Like, I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming, Deshaun Watson. We'd have to be super aggressive
those
to get
guys
any of those
free agents.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like.
But like a guy like Deshaun would have to waive his no trade clause for whatever team, right?
Yeah.
So,
I just
Aaron
don't
Rodgers doesn't have one, but I saw that he stuck around a couple extra days and talked to the Packers, and now the Packers are the favorite for him to stay there.
I think it makes sense. But kind of like Brady retiring. I didn't think he would retire. I don't think Rodgers is going to leave Green Bay.
It doesn't make sense to me for him to leave,
right?
Unless it's like a super premium situation, which I guess anybody would really kick their quarterback out.
Just stay out of Pittsburgh, please.
Yeah, no kidding. Let me ask you guys about the report that came out about Von Miller saying what Odell told him in the offseason last year. So for anybody, and make sure I get this right. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But for anybody listening who didn't see it, Von Miller said that when he was he a free agent last year, or he was
because he got traded,
right? Okay. Well, anyway, so he was talking to Odell about wanting to go to a different team or whatever. I forget the conversation, but Odell reportedly said, "Don't come to Cleveland."
I was just talking about this on our way up here.
Oh, what did you guys say?
I don't care at all. I said,
it just sucks.
You know how many jobs I've had that sucked, and my friends are like, "Hey, I should come work with you," and I'm like, "Bro, don't come work here. This place sucks." He's my friend. Why would I tell him to come?
So
here?
what you're saying is that says more about Cleveland than it says about the player.
It
right?
just answers our biggest fears. Like, we think, oh man, maybe Cleveland Browns are becoming like a sexy team for free agents to come to. Maybe not. Maybe not. Especially if you hear stuff like that, it just kind of sucks. Confirms your biggest fears. You may never be able to get a big time quarterback.
Who knows?
To come
Maybe a lot of that was
that.
the frustration of knowing that I still have talent. I'm open, and I'm not putting up numbers, and I know why.
I mean, we
were literally wasting his career.
I mean, he was doing that too at the end, the New York thing. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, to me, I think it's stupid. It is what it is.
Does it suck? Yes. But at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta be not the nice guy.
Well, that's true. And at the same time, it's not like he went on social media and replied to something of Von Miller, said, "Don't come to Cleveland." This is something that was said in a personal conversation behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So Von Miller decides he's going to, expose that. Well, I guess that's on him. I mean,
And by all accounts, he was a great teammate. People are still literally on Twitter. Mac Wilson was tweeting about OBJ going to the Super Bowl. So he might have said, like you said, behind closed doors to a friend, "Man, don't come here. This place kind of sucks." Or maybe, and that might suck to hear. But at the end of the day, he might have hated it here, yet he still showed up and was a good teammate and put forth effort.
Another thing too is maybe he was not even talking about that so much as, don't come to Cleveland because you're not going to get the money you need as a defensive player right now. I mean, look at the deals that they gave all of our defensive guys. They were all very team friendly deals. Nothing big, nothing, big money, long term, anything like that.
Well, and also he's been asking out of Cleveland. So another way I took it is he's like, don't come here. I don't plan on being here that long.
Yeah, that's true. Too.
Even if he didn't leave this year, he was probably going to leave in the offseason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he's like, well, don't go to Cleveland. I'm not going to be there that long.
Yeah.
And it does it suck that he wasn't having fun here? Yeah, but I can't blame him. Like I said, you only have one career. Sometimes you got to be the D-bag because he was, and now he's in a Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like Larry Fitzgerald was the nicest guy ever, and he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, one of the best receivers ever. He's got no Super Bowls. He made it to one. Yeah. I bet you if he was a little bit of a D-bag, he could have got a Super Bowl. And people can argue like, well, he's just a better person, though. He has his whatever. I want Super Bowls. Sometimes you got to be the D-bag. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Well, the whole point in playing the game is to win a Super Bowl. That's it. I mean, in the NFL, you play to try to win a Super Bowl. And like you said about the Rams, I mean, Sean McVay in the front office there in LA said, you know what, Jared, you've been a good quarterback for us. We're trying to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, hard feelings.
Yeah, no hard feelings, but get out.
Yeah, that you got to make those that's the kinds of decisions you got to make.
Yeah, it is a tough business. I couldn't imagine being in it.
I mean, can you imagine though, like Rams fans when they had Jared Goff arguing about how good? No, we've seen him play well before. Think about how stupid that sounds.
Yeah, none of them are complaining right now that they have Matthew Stafford instead of Jared Goff.
Exactly.
It's crazy because they gave up 3 first-round picks for him and their quarterback. I mean, like,
was it 3 first?
Yeah. 3 first and Jared Goff.
Well,
and so, like, to me, I mean, there's guys out there like Aaron Rodgers, but like, I don't know. You said that you'd be willing to give up first rounds for. I mean, they literally haven't had a first round pick in years. Well, and don't have any coming.
If you can hit on your later picks, it doesn't matter.
But
first round picks.
Well, and it helps they're in LA, bro. It's easy to go, hey, come out to Cali and play out here. This place is sweet. This stadium, the ocean breeze is coming through here. This is pretty sweet.
I saw they haven't had a first round pick since Obama was in office, and they don't have another one for a few years.
Jeez.
That's why I don't care about draft capital that much. You know what I mean?
Cooper Kupp was a 3rd,
something like that. It's just like if you're smart and you're aggressive and you identify the talent you need and want and you go get it. The draft. I mean, the draft is a crapshoot.
Oh yeah,
half the league's undrafted.
Yeah, that's why if you got to give up 3 first to get, and Deshaun Watson can be our quarterback.
I was wrong. It was only 2 firsts and a 3rd. But
okay,
I mean,
but that's looking like a steal.
Especially in Cleveland first round pick history, how well have we done? If you can give them up for a guy who's proven and you know what you're getting.
But now, like, I feel like there's definitely been like a culture change and a different attitude as far as how we've drafted the last couple of years. Like, I think there's progress there. I think Andrew Berry has done an excellent job with what draft picks we've had. So,
Yeah. Hit those seconds.
Hopefully the culture's changing,
So
let's see what happens.
We'll kind of see. I do feel like there's pressure on there's pressure on the whole league. We talked about it last week. If you watch the Bills Chiefs play and you don't have one of those kinds of quarterbacks, not just the Browns, it goes for just about anybody, you're feeling the heat.
Oh, you're not going to be able to compete.
No.
Yeah.
I think next year you're looking Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, LA, Chargers in the AFC. Mm-hmm. I mean, who else is really going to come out here?
Possibly the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders.
Depending on what McDaniels does.
But I mean, as far as like big time quarterbacks that can play on that stage at that level in the AFC,
I mean, those are some pretty big names, man. Those are definitely the ones. I mean, I think Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes,
that's going to be
they control some things for a long time.
Yes.
It's crazy to think Joe Burrow's in one, but then you think of the guys that, already went down to get to that point. Like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, those are all excellent quarterbacks. I think that's why it hurts so badly watching those games, because you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let us know what you guys think. The Browns have extra pressure knowing, these two teams are in the Super Bowl. Let us know what you guys are. You guys excited for the Super Bowl? I know I am. I'm pulling for the Rams. I've always liked Stafford. And so I'd like to see him get his ring, and I really don't want the Bengals to win. So I'm definitely pulling for the Rams. Let us know what you guys think. Thanks for checking it out. Another episode. Remember to check us out on the after hours, jointhedawgs.com if you're interested in that. Also, remember to check out and vote for the Mad Dog Awards, thedawgspodcast.com/awards. Get your votes in. And that episode will be coming to you next week. You got about 6 days to get your votes in, so make sure you guys do that. To all you Dog Pack members, we'll see you on the After Hours show, and everybody else, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast, and become an official Dog Pack member and join thedawgs.com.